Hey, thanks for coming. This is Travis Sago. I'm one of the team members over at Strip That Fat. Super good you're here today. I've pulled up my Mac here and I've got a cup of Joe. And I wanted to chit chat with you just a little bit. I've found that this dieting industry has got everything completely bass backwards. It makes losing weight or getting down to your ideal weight an absolute struggle and a nightmare. And I wanted to chat with you about a new approach that we've been using since 2008 that makes this process a lot easier for you. And as you can probably tell, I am not the best person on video. So I'm going to ask you to kind of forgive me and give me a little warm up here. Uh, the other day, my wife had a little eye exam, and I was sitting in the doctor's office waiting for her, and there's a Reader's Digest there, and I found the funniest story. You know, those little funny story sections in the Reader's Digest, and it said a little girl. She was in first grade in art class, and the teacher said, You can draw anything that you want. Told the class, draw anything that you want. So the little girl decides what she wants to draw, and she's got her tongue sticking out and drawing all crazy. She's so into what she's drawing, the teacher comes up and says, Oh, what are you drawing? And she says, I'm drawing God. And the teacher looks at her and says, Oh, well, how are you doing that? You can't draw God because nobody knows what God looks like. So I'm going to tell you what the little girl said here at the end of this video, but that was just kind of my little warm up here. But let's talk about this whole dieting. Here's why I say they've got it backwards. They start with an outside in approach. They start from the outside and work in. So they work on all the outside stuff that you have to do, uh, they say, to lose weight. So and you know this, but you see it on TV. You see, you've probably went through a couple diets yourself, but they start you on a very restrictive diet. Here's what you eat. You eat these type of foods. Don't eat these type of foods, right? Here's how many times a day you should eat. You should eat 6 times a day, they say. And they say, okay, you have to work out this many times a day for this long, and drink this many glasses of water. Well, what happens is they're trying to change all your outside effects in life, and the problem with that is, and if you've been on a few diets, you know this, is that you feel like you're walking this tightrope, and if you don't do it right, then you start feeling bad. If you slip a little bit, if you have that bowl of mashed potatoes, then that springs forth guilt and shame. And I know for me that caused me to eat even more. I know for a lot of folks that I've talked to that they walk around all day with this guilt and this shame. And it's not like this big thing they're constantly aware of, but they have this horrible relationship with food like it's the enemy. And that's the outside in approach. And basically what the dieting industry says, and they don't come out and say it, but it's they come out and basically they're saying, do follow this diet so you can get skinny. Once you're skinny, then you can be happy, right? And once you're happy, then you can find some peace. Well, what happens is, even for the folks that have this enormous willpower, even if they get to the end of that tightrope without falling down, they still never find peace because they're afraid if they stop following the guidelines that they'll gain the weight back. And a lot of times they do gain that weight back. So that's why I say it's backwards. This outside in approach, this uh, go on a diet so you can be happy, is exactly backwards. I call it bass backwards. The bass backwards approach to weight loss. And it's tough and it's a struggle. And that's why so many people are having a tough time of it. So, what's the new approach? What's the opposite approach from outside in? If the old approach, the hard approach is outside in, the new approach, the one we've found has been working so much smoother, so much more easily, is an inside out approach. Now, it's hard to explain all this in one video, but here's the first step. And I've been talking about this in the letter that you're reading here. The first step is when you get rid of all these restrictive rules and guidelines. Not only are you getting rid of the rules and the guidelines, but you get rid of all the the consequences for not following the rules, right? If you break that rule of, oh, I had a piece of possum pie, now you feel bad about it, and then you go home and you even eat more food because you're feeling bad. So by getting rid of those rules, we get rid of a lot of the shame and the guilt. But if we don't have all these guidelines, then what do? What we do is we start from the inside, and we start a process of self-acceptance and listening. Listening not to all the monkey mind, the chatter that's going on here that we've been so programmed with, but actually going down and listening to what's on the inside. And I know that's, you may be a little bit worried about that because we've almost forgotten how to listen to what's on the inside. So, and I'm not a touchy-feely kind of person. So let's use kind of an example. Let's take one example that you've probably read 100 times. And that's that you should eat 6 meals a day. Okay, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. For me, eating 5 to 6 meals a day is good, but it may not be for you. I don't know if you're an NFL linebacker or used to be a ballerina. So trying to force feed you some rules and guidelines that you should eat 6 meals a day may or may not be right for you. What you have to do, and what's been successful for us, is listening on the inside. Listen to your stomach. How often a day are you hungry? Do you even, do you find it hard to listen to when you're hungry anymore? Do you follow that? So one of the things that we do in Strip That Fat is teach you how to start listening again to what's going on the inside. So you eat when you're hungry, and that may be 3 times a day. That may be 6 times a day. It may be more times a day. But what the amount of meals that's right for you can't be put down in some book. Okay. That may even change for you depending on what season we're in. I know for me, in the wintertime, when I'm not as active as I am in the summertime I go out and work in the yard and I go swimming and such, that I actually eat about another meal a day than I do in the wintertime. So that may change for you as well, depending on your activities or what you're doing and what you're up to in life. So that is just one example of inside out. Be happy and then lose the weight, not lose the weight so you can be happy. And what you'll find is the weight will start coming off. And not only that, but you're not stressed out and worried even as the weight is coming off that you're going to gain it back. I know I struggled for years, and I lost most of my weight after I started being happy first and started listening on the inside. I lost most of my weight. I was at 227, and I'm 187 now. I'm a 43-year-old guy, and I've got 10% body fat. And I'm not saying all that to brag, but my point is I don't even worry about it anymore. I just go about my life, but I listen to, hey, am I hungry right now? Am I full right now? And lots of other things that we forget how to listen to ourselves and what we should be doing, and we can actually make the rules. If I want some KFC, I go get some KFC. It doesn't affect, my weight. It's not, it's about how we do it and not so much about what we eat. But it's about listening to what you want to eat too, really listening to what you want to eat. And we've kind of forgotten how to do that. And with Strip That Fat, we kind of reteach you how to listen to yourself again. But now here I am going to brag. The way we do it, I think, is really genius because we don't do it by saying, okay, you need to pull out your yoga mat and sit there and meditate in a corner somewhere. We do it with a small step-by-step process that does not require willpower. It only requires willingness and remembering to do it. And we'll even help you, give you ways to remember. So I really enjoyed making this video. Oh yeah, I got to continue my story, don't I? The little girl, yes, she was drawing a picture of God, and the teacher says, well, you can't draw a picture of God. After she told them they can draw whatever they want to. Well, you can't draw a picture of God. Nobody knows what God looks like. How are you drawing a picture of God? And the little girl says, well, they'll all know in a minute what God looks like. And I thought that was the cutest story. But I'm really glad you made it today. And whether you decide to continue on with us or not, I hope you've gotten enough information here at our site that helps your path to losing weight and getting back to your ideal self a lot easier for you. And remember, do it happily achieve becoming the thin person, okay? You don't have to wait to be happy until you're skinny. You can do it right now. You're good enough already. You have plenty of willpower already. You have more than you ever need. You just have to learn to listen to yourself again. And I would love to take you by the hand and help you reacquaint yourself with that process if you want to join us. So just continue on reading, and I'll see you on the other side. I appreciate you. Bye bye.